all fire safety essentials like smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. Applications for services run through March 31st, 2026. Once that window closes, you'll have to wait for next year's window to apply again. Don't risk another unsafe day. Let your neighbors help. Apply today at rtmn.org and select Apply for Help. That's rtmn.org and select Apply for Help. Or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota. Safer homes, stronger independence.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Sunshine today with a high of 76, then tonight a chance of showers with a low of 39. Warmer weather is on the horizon, and what better way to welcome it back than with a fantastic meal and a show at Crooner's Supper Club. Crooner's is located in Fridley on Highway 65, just north of I-694. Check out their concert schedules and dinner menus at croonersmn.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living Healthy and Aging Well. My name is Ken Haglind, and we are broadcasting from the AM 950 radio station that overlooks Bryant Lake Regional Park, located in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. It is another beautiful day here in the Twin Cities, and I am so grateful to be here with you today. I hope all of you listening are doing well. We are on the air every Saturday from noon to 1 to talk about your health and your life. We cover a wide range of topics to help you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. We have another great show for you today. Joining me in a few minutes will be Stacey Allen, a licensed marriage and family therapist and the owner of the group practice In Mind Health. And she is here today to explore how the experiences of cancer, chronic health issues, and grief, life events that profoundly change many aspects of daily life and can significantly affect coping and mental health. Stacey and her team specialize in serving individuals and families living with cancer, chronic illness, and grief in all its forms. They also support healthcare providers as they navigate their own mental health challenges and grief in the workplace. Stacey and her team of therapists and clinical social workers offer their distinctive and specialized therapy services to the Minnesota community through In Mind Health, a growing therapy clinic with 2 locations in Chaska and Eagan. You will enjoy listening to my conversation today with Stacey Allen. I want to thank all of you that leave us messages on our radio show phone line. We appreciate hearing from you, and we welcome your comments, questions, and topics for future shows. Also, if you are interested in being a guest on our radio show, please call or text us at 612-999-3426. You can also contact us on our website at livinghealthyradio.com. There you can find information about upcoming guests as well as listen to our previous shows. And we look forward to hearing from you. We are adding new listeners to the show each week, not only here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, but also throughout the country. You can find podcasts for all of our radio shows on the AM 950 radio website. We can also be found on your favorite streaming services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, and many others. You can also watch us live on the radio station's Facebook page at AM 950 Radio. If you have a question for us today, there's 2 ways to reach us. First, by calling the AM 950 radio station, and our friendly show engineer, Patrick, will get your call on the air. Our phone number is 952-946-6205, or you can directly text us your questions at 612-999-3426. Now, don't worry. If you missed our contact numbers, I'll repeat them throughout the show. All right. I want to welcome my guest for today's show, Stacey Allen, licensed marriage and family therapist and owner of the group practice In Mind Health. Welcome to the show, Stacey.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. I'm so glad that you found me and offered this opportunity. It really is a lovely chance to talk about what it is that we're doing at In Mind Health. So I really appreciate it.
Well, tell you what, the audience just loves to learn about you. Who is this amazing person on Ken's show? And so, would you give us a little bio background of you so people can kind of fill in the blanks in their mind?
Yeah, sure. Well, going way back, I have my undergrad degree in psychology. And then what I ended up doing is found out about child life specialist. One of my nursing student friends showed me a little bit about that career, and I thought it sounded really interesting. So I went to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, and I finished the internship there, and then I worked in two pediatric hospitals here in the Twin Cities. And I love doing that work so much. That's where I really started to learn about what it was like to be a part of a hospital team. But I also learned how to work with families and children specifically in coping with lots of different medical problems that they were dealing with. So that was very educational for me, and I loved that. But then when I had my own children, I decided that I was going to stay home and I was going to take other kids into my house, and I did childcare and some preschool for a while. And I missed what I was doing in the hospitals. And so I found Gilda's Club, which was at the time Gilda's Club Twin Cities.
Right.
And I found that they were looking for volunteers to help fundraise to open their doors. And so I helped them fundraise for about 7 years. And then while I was doing that, I went back to school and I got my master's in marriage and family therapy. And then Gilda's Club hired me at that time to run support groups for adults with cancer. And I ended up doing that for 8 years. But I also then had my master's at that time and started working with HealthWise Behavioral Health, which is in Maple Grove. That's a group practice. And they helped me just kind of hone the skills in working with that population that I was really interested in working with. Nobody else in the practice was doing that work and having that interest. So I was seeing cancer patients, getting a lot of referrals from Gilda's Club. I was then working with people who were grieving or having an impending death. I was working with families and individuals, getting lots of referrals around town from different nonprofits. The cancer community really found me, the cancer clinics in town. And then I started to get referrals from other clinics, other doctors that were seeing patients with lots of different types of chronic health issues. And it really seemed to translate very well from cancer and the things that people psychologically deal with. And then I was able to then learn lots and lots about all the different kinds of chronic health issues that change life for people. And that was really a growing work as well. And then healthcare providers started to come to me. So I started to see some oncologists, some radiologists, some surgeons, allergists, lots of nurses, and then other therapists would come in. And it's just helpful when somebody has experience in working in a hospital, working in that setting, and being familiar with the challenges, the grief that takes place in that kind of work, and just the difficulties that arise and the wear and tear on people's mental health when they're dealing with death of their patients and lots of difficult situations. So it has been this niche that I have honed, and I started to get some information from other nonprofits because my schedule was so full that there weren't really very many people to be able to refer to, and they were begging me, do you know anybody? Can you train more people? How can we get more people doing what you're doing? So finally, I decided to take the specialty that I'd built and turn it into something that was mine, that I could develop and present to the community, specifically all the residents of Minnesota that are looking for a therapist that really understands cancer, really understands chronic illness and grief, and being able to understand what it's like to be a healthcare provider in Minnesota. So I started In Mind Health about 2.5 years ago. And since I've been talking about it, other therapists in the area, other clinical social workers have heard what it is that I'm doing, and they're really excited about this mission. They're excited about the specialty, and they've been calling me and looking for a place to be able to offer their clinical services underneath the umbrella of In Mind Health. So right now, we are a group of 8 therapy providers. So it's grown really quickly in the last 2.5 years. But I'm so grateful and so proud of what it is that we're offering to the community.
Yes. And so if people are interested here, the website is inmindhealthmn.com. Tell me how you decided on the name In Mind.
It was probably a whole weekend of scrolling the internet, Google, looking up different words and names that had to do with this specialty. I'd get a great idea and then see that it was already used. And so then I have to scratch that out and back to the drawing board. But once I decided on In Mind Health, I'd written that out and I just thought, that's it. That's exactly what it is that I'm looking for. That's exactly what it is that we're doing. We're working with things that people are thinking about and dealing with related to healthcare and their own personal health. So it just seemed to make so much sense. And it's funny when we talk with people how often we'll say, keep that in mind, through the work that we're doing, that word comes up quite a bit.
Sure. What I think is so interesting, and we'll get into more of this in this show, is that you're talking to patients, to people that are engaging and encountering these things in life, but you also are helping support the healthcare community. And because people that are dealing with helping other people, that's stressful for themselves. And I know the people that I work with in hospice care, it's very emotional, and it takes its toll, as you talked about, just the wear and tear sometimes of death and chronic disease can really impact the caregiver, the provider of care. So we'll talk more about how that fits into your practice as well. It's time for a short break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Stacey Allen, a licensed marriage and family therapist and the owner of the group practice In Mind Health. And she's here today to explore how the experiences of cancer, chronic health issues, and grief, these life events that profoundly change many aspects of daily life and can significantly affect coping and mental health. If you have a question, give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Haglind, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Families, get ready for Dinosaur World Live, a thrilling interactive show at Children's Theater Company, March 3rd through April 5th. This hit show is the perfect blend of science, storytelling, and spectacular live theater. These remarkably lifelike dinosaurs move, they roar, and yes, the mighty T-Rex towers before your eyes. This is edge-of-your-seat excitement, followed by the chance to meet a dinosaur up close. Dinosaur World Live opens March 3rd. Tickets at childrenstheater.org.
There really is no place like home. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Home Health. When you're faced with an illness or an injury, being able to stay at home and receive care is important. Our home health offers a wide range of services, including skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapies, aides, homemakers, in-home respite care, and 24/7 live-in care. We'll work closely with your primary care provider to come up with an individualized plan for you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. The end of winter is finally on the horizon, and you're going to start thinking about all that nasty crud that's built up in your home over these last few months. Call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get you an early start on the spring cleanup. Zero Res removes winter's buildup and lingering odors, giving your home a fresh, spring-ready feel. This month, get Zero Resified from Minnesota's #1 carpet cleaner. Buy one room, get another free. Buy another room of carpet cleaning, get another room of carpet done for free. Get the picture? Also this month, get a free size upgrade on every whole home air duct cleaning package. Don't you love when you buy your favorite beverage and get a free size upgrade? That's what Zero Res is doing this month with their whole home air duct cleaning package. Start spring cleaning with a free upgrade and pay less for more fresh. Call Zero Res right now, 9520-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Get ready for Easter fun with the annual Easter brunch at the Park Tavern. Enjoy Easter ham, all your Easter breakfast and brunch favorites, and all the sides and desserts. Seatings are from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sunday, April 5th, and you need reservations. $29.95 for adults, $19.95 for those over 65 and under 12 years old, and 5 and under are free. And don't forget the hour of free bowling with every reservation. Call 952-929-6810 on Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park. Enjoy a delicious, stress-free Easter with the Park Tavern.
What if I told you that toxic pesticides from crop seeds and lawns have spread all over Minnesota's lands and water, devastating wildlife and posing risks to our health? Well, it's true. But a coalition of Minnesota farmers, community members, anglers, and more are taking action to protect our state from neurotoxic pesticides. To learn more and get involved, visit cleanerseed.org. That's cleanerseed.org. And tune to Food Freedom Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Haglind, and joining me today is Stacey Allen, a licensed marriage and family therapist and the owner of the group practice In Mind Health. And she is here today exploring how the experiences of cancer, chronic health issues, and grief in all its forms can profoundly change the many aspects of how daily life can be had by people and can significantly affect coping and mental health. She and her team specialize in serving individuals and families living with cancer, chronic illness, and grief. They also support healthcare providers as they navigate their own mental health challenges and grief in the workplace. Stacey, how can our listeners contact you and your organization if they have questions or want more information?
Sure. They can go online if they want to take a look at the website. It's inmindhealthmn.com. And there is a contact form. There's a scheduling form where you can contact using that same form with any question that you might have. And our clinic manager will get back to you. And you can also email at inmindhealthmn.com.
And that's inmindhealthmn.com. All right. Fantastic. Well, let's talk about, you've got just an amazing group of people in your practice. Let's talk about some of the specialties that you guys offer with your team.
I think it would be great to highlight what the team is bringing, because they all have different interests and specialties and different backgrounds that they're bringing. But the thing that's unique about In Mind Health is that we are only seeing patients who are looking for help with issues around cancer, chronic illness, and grief. And like you said, the healthcare providers as well. And we do actually turn away people who are looking for more general healthcare, mental health help. And so it's really important that this team has experience or is really interested in learning how to do some of these specialties. So the first person that joined my team was Allie DeCamillis, and she is a licensed professional clinical counselor, but also an art therapist. And she was my program director when I worked at Gilda's Club. And so we have a bit of a history going back and working together with families that have cancer and the grievers in our community around cancer. And so she's amazingly connected in this community and very well respected. And so I'm so lucky to have her on my team. So I'm grateful. Then we have Heather Besser. And Heather is also a licensed clinical social worker, and she is also certified in doing ART, which is accelerated resolution therapy. And it's a very short stint in therapy that targets specific memories that are troubling to people. And it's been very, very successful. I've sent many of my patients to her for some specific work that's a little short lived but successful. So, and her expertise too with Parkinson's, she has worked in hospice and she has been in many of the hospital systems and has a really wonderful social work background in doing clinical work with folks. So then we have Jenny Gresseth, and she is a marriage and family therapist, and she's also an RN. And so she has that expertise of working in the medical field in different clinics and doing some really wonderful work with patients, and then getting her marriage and family license and being able to take that expertise and doing the work with families, individuals in the clinic office around these specific issues. So her expertise is such a gift to have on the team. And then we have Amy Kalbrenner, and Amy is a licensed professional clinical counselor, and she is also an art therapist. And so she's working out of our Egan clinic and has a specialized office space that's not only, like couch and chair for therapy, but she also has a space that is dedicated to art therapy. So there's a table and chairs and all the stuff that she does, her special art therapy work with her patients. So it's really neat to bring
She's
that.
a registered art therapist.
That's right.
All
Yep,
right.
that's right. So we're so
Wow.
proud to have her
Yeah.
doing that kind of work. We had Michael Sala join our team fairly recently, and he is also a licensed clinical social worker, and he has a really interesting background as a death midwife. He is a yoga instructor. He teaches Tai Chi, and he's also a spiritual counselor. And so he brings some really wonderful things to our group as well. And I'm so proud to have him on the team. We also have Allison Midwinter, who recently joined our team. She is a licensed clinical social worker, and she has experience working for the Angel Foundation, which is a really well-respected, wonderful nonprofit here in the Twin Cities supporting families with cancer. She's also done some work with Gilda's Club and the Growing Through Grief program, which brought grief assistance into the schools. And so she has wonderful experience and is filling her schedule now as she's just starting, and so is Michael. So it's a really wonderful time for new patients to give us a call, because we have these very experienced therapists who, for a short time, will have openings in their schedule. So this is a really wonderful time to join us. But we also have a brand new therapist who's definitely not a new therapist, but new to us, Kari Palt Anderson, who's going to be joining our team as a clinical social worker. And she has over 20 years of experience in working in hospitals as the oncology social worker. So she is going to be joining our team. She's certified in Renewing Life, and she has been with actually more than one hospital system here in the Twin Cities. And we are so, so lucky to have her joining the team as well. So that's us. I think with the goal moving forward is to create even a more multidisciplinary team, so that we have people who are potentially offering different kinds of adjunct therapies, things like massage, nutrition. I would love to have a prescriber on the team eventually to be able to have some movement therapies, focusing more on somatic therapies, so that we're looking for space that we can house this organization that can provide all of those different services to our community in Minnesota.
Yeah, isn't it interesting as you look at the breadth as you're growing these different modalities and things, and yet you're trying to narrow the focus too, from general therapy to just really a focused therapy approach.
Yeah.
And so we'll continue to talk about that in the next segment. It's time for a short break. We'll be right back, everyone. And we'll continue our conversation with Stacey Allen, a licensed marriage and family therapist and the owner of the group practice In Mind Health. And she's here today, and we're talking about how the experiences of cancer, chronic health issues, and grief can profoundly change many aspects of daily life and can significantly affect coping and mental health. If you have a question, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Haglind, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high-quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice-impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community, and we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Prime Productions is thrilled to bring the world premiere of Abuelita by Nathan Youngerberg to the Capri Theater March 14th through the 29th. A grandmother from Iowa brings her grandson to meet his Puerto Rican relatives in sweltering New York, 1993. Davi's world is transformed with music, dancing, and community. Directed by Shay Cage. Pay-as-you-are tickets can be purchased at primeprods.org. That's spelled prime, P-R-O-D-S.org.
When it comes to nutritional supplements, it can be hard to know what to trust. Announcing whattotrust.com. Whattotrust.com is a free app developed by Canamix, a Rochester, Minnesota company founded by scientists and clinicians from Harvard Medical School to help people make informed choices. It's time to stop guessing what scientifically proven means and start knowing what to trust. Go to whattotrust.com, enter product's name, and get science-based What to Trust scores. Companies do not pay to be listed on What to Trust. Whattotrust.com.
March Madness is here, and Popped Corn, that's Popped corn.com, is a game time decision for you. Enjoy your favorite flavor of Popped Corn gourmet popcorn, like cheese made with real cheese, the classic mix, or the featured flavor of Shamrock Caramel. And many college teams are featured on Popped Corn's tins. You can ship your favorite team tin across the USA. Find your team at poppedcorn.com and enter the discount code of Matt to get 10% off your order. That's discount code of MATT at popcorn, Popped corn.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Sunshine today with a high of 76, and tonight a chance of showers with a low of 39. Dinosaur World is taking over Children's Theater Company for an immersive tour where you can feel the roar and even smell their stinky breath. Get ready to face a T-Rex and be sneezed on by a Triceratops. Dinosaur World runs now through April 5th. Get your tickets at childrenstheater.org.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Saturday.
Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Haglind, and joining me today is Stacey Allen, a licensed marriage and family therapist and the owner of the group practice In Mind Health. And she's here today helping us talk about cancer, chronic health issues, and grief, and how these life events can profoundly change many aspects of daily life and can significantly affect coping and mental health. Stacey, how can people get a hold of you if they have questions or want more information?
Sure. They can go on our website, which is inmindhealthmn.com, or they can email at inmindhealthmn.com.
All right, fantastic. Before we return to our conversation with Stacey, I want to mention this radio show is brought to you in part each week by Minnesota Hospice. Minnesota Hospice is an independent, locally owned medical practice serving our Twin Cities communities with comprehensive end-of-life health care. The team at Minnesota Hospice provides patients and family members with award-winning end-of-life healthcare services. You may not be aware that hospice brings compassionate medical, social, emotional, and spiritual services to your home with typically no cost to you or your family. Please do not wait to learn how hospice care can benefit you and your loved ones. If you have any questions regarding end-of-life care or support, please contact the compassionate team of experts at Minnesota Hospice. They are available to answer your questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by a registered nurse. Their phone number is 952-898-1022. Once again, 952-898-1022, or visit them online at minnesotahospice.com. All right, let's return to our conversation with Stacey. All right, let's talk about why your clients value your services, and even more importantly, why do referral sources value your services? Because again, you're getting a lot of referrals from all across the spectrum of healthcare, and that's really great. I'm glad to see that we're helping each other out here, helping people just do the best they can to just get help.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's hard to find therapists that really do understand what it is that happens to people's lives when they're diagnosed with something that really changes life. Cancer and chronic illness can change the way that people see themselves in this world. It changes the way they trust their body after they feel like they sometimes have been deceived by their body. And I think it's important for people to understand all those different things that are affected related to their work life, their finances, their relationships, their housing sometimes, because finances really change. But the relational pieces of it as well are really difficult. It changes the way that people are able to relate to people, depending on their energy or the way that they're feeling. They aren't showing up the way that they used to, and sometimes, many times, people in life don't understand why it is that they're not able to kind of get themselves back to normal. So many people will say that they feel like they can manage the physical symptoms of the chronic illness, mostly okay. But the thing that really throws them is the mental health piece, how difficult it is to emotionally manage all the things that are happening in life related to the chronic illness or the cancer diagnosis. So I think it's nice to be able to offer that kind of service. And I think the community appreciates that. The medical community appreciates being able to make that solid referral to a group of practitioners that do understand the medical terminology, the diagnoses, the treatment protocols, some of the side effects and the things, the medications that people are taking. So just the language is, something that is almost like you learn a new language when you're diagnosed with something. So if a therapist can understand that, because I think I've heard from patients that when they've seen other therapists, who do wonderful work, but I think it gets underestimated, the impact of cancer or the impact of chronic illness, or even sometimes the impact of a death. And I really am proud to be able to offer the expertise of the clinicians that we have in being able to look at these diagnoses and all of the effects that encompass so many aspects of people's lives. So I'm proud to be able to offer all of the different types of specialties that we have.
Do you find that it's helpful for a partner, a spouse of someone who's going through a health challenge, for them to be either involved in some of that counseling or counseling just directly for themselves?
Yeah, I find it incredibly helpful. When we say that we serve patients that have cancer and chronic illness, and grievers, we are also serving the families, the care partners. In marriage and family therapy specifically, the thing that's a little bit different about marriage and family is that we're trained in looking at the systems that people are in. And social workers and licensed professional counselors and psychologists have a little bit more of an individual focus. And we are looking more at, the family relationships, the relationships to the people at work or in a school setting, and then the greater community, Minnesota, then in this nation, in this world, we are affected by all of those systems, and we affect those systems, particularly the ones close to us. So from that lens, we like to take a peek at, all those different people that are affecting you. And it's really helpful in the therapy office to be able to have some of those people come in and tell us what it's like to be in a relationship with that person. It's very helpful in the work that we do. It isn't required. And not all of the therapists are trained or really like to do that kind of work where there's more people in the office. But some people really do like it. So we have a mix of the therapists on our team that like to work with groups. So I really highly recommend it, especially when working with children or working with couples.
Yeah. I think I've heard so much that the constellation therapy, where just you have so many moving parts, and again, you take the matriarch or the patriarch or someone who's kind of that core foundation for a family, and now shifts into someone who needs help versus always being the help provider.
Yeah.
It shifts so many dynamics, and it just helps for people to talk about, okay, how do we now rebalance our relationships and rebalance our family, rebalance even at work. Like we had people on the show recently, they just help people that are going through struggles like that at work, because it does impact your professional side of life as well.
It does. And people aren't living on an island. I mean, some people are doing cancer and chronic illness by themselves. And that's a whole nother thing, trying to do that alone. Those are, multiple challenges. But when we do have people that are living in a family system or a couple, in a partnership, I think it's so helpful to have that person come in, because that person is so greatly affected as well. And they really need to be sure. The most beautiful work I think that we can do is when we make sure that everybody's on the same page, that they understand the diagnosis and the prognosis, and they understand the symptoms, what's causing them. They understand where the energy is coming from and when it's going to be depleted, and how can we work together to make sure that we have expectations that are appropriate for the way that things are, not expectations for the way that we wish they were, but for the way that they actually are. And so we have to set a new scale of measurement on that's appropriate, so that people are not feeling like they're constantly not reaching their potential. It's demoralizing. And so if we can make sure that people have an understanding of what the appropriate expectations are as a group, or individually, but they have to readjust roles and responsibilities in the house. Many times the care partner is going to have to pick up a lot of the extra work when somebody is going through cancer treatment, or even post-treatment. Things just don't pick back up again right away. And so it's important for people to understand what they're dealing with together as a team, working on communication. And many times people will be in a partnership and they'll be protecting of the other person. They don't want to let them know that they're upset or scared. They don't want to talk about the things that they're anxious about. And so we can also help have some really difficult but important conversations, so that when things are out on the table, then we've got something that we can work with together. And many times, anxiety and depression are present in these types of situations. Some people come to a diagnosis with a history of anxiety and depression, and some people have never experienced it before. But when they are diagnosed with cancer or a chronic health issue, or they're dealing with a grief situation, they are experiencing these symptoms for the first time. And it's important to be able to have some professional help when these symptoms are present and interrupting life, even on top of the interruptions that the health issue is creating or the grief issue is creating.
Mm-hmm. You talked about expectations, and sometimes I've heard that either the patient or the care or their partner will have an unrealistic expectation that being too optimistic. Not that's it's helpful to be versus pessimistic, but sometimes you can get out of sync then, where you're expecting something to happen or to resume normal life. Yes. And it takes longer than you're thinking it does. And I think that puts a lot of stress on the patient. I'm not doing something right. I'm not recovering fast enough. I'm not getting better fast enough. And maybe it's coming from a good place, but they're just overly encouraging, overly optimistic. I think that can be somewhat demoralizing too.
Yes, it absolutely can. You brought up a couple of really good things there that are important to talk about. The expectations that people have, I can think particularly when people finish with chemotherapy or they finish with radiation and they ring the bell. Yeah. And everybody in their circle is so happy. They're cheering, they're clapping, and they're actually saying things a lot of the time like, now we can get back to normal. And I just really have a lot of conversations about that expectation of normal, because there's no way that people can go back to a place of normalcy as they knew it, because you can't go back to a place where you didn't intimately know cancer or you didn't intimately know that chronic health condition. And so there are lessons there that have been learned. There's identity changes that have happened. There is, workplace changes and relationship differences, energy issues. So that is really a big deal of reevaluating what might be normal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a real partnership with a family when someone's navigating through and you're trying to support that.
Yes.
All right, it's time for a short break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Stacey Allen, a licensed marriage and family therapist and the owner of the group practice In Mind Health. And she's here today exploring how the experiences of cancer, chronic health issues, and grief can profoundly impact and change the aspects of daily life and significantly affect coping and mental health. If you have a question for us, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Haglind, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Hi, I'm Mary T. I'm a proud supporter of AM 950 because this station shares the values that I care about most: community, connection, and making a difference. Just like AM 950, I believe in using our energies, our resources, and our voices to lift up others. That's why I started the Mary T. Scholar Program at the University of Minnesota College of Education and Human Development, providing graduate students with internships internationally. For over the past 10 years, our students have served communities in Laos, Cambodia, Nepal, India, Cameroon, and Thailand, gaining experience and helping people in ways that really make a difference. Supporting AM 950 fosters conversation, awareness, and action in our communities. It's about shared values and believing that together we can make a difference. Visit marytinc.com to learn more about the work that we do.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota delivers critical home repairs and safety modifications to low-income Minnesotans, because everyone deserves a safe place to live, not just those who can afford it. If you've been putting off repairs because the cost feels impossible, know this: their services come at no cost to homeowners. They focus on safe and healthy home solutions that keep older adults independent, support families, and strengthen entire neighborhoods. And there's no catch. Apply during their application window, open January 1st through March 31st, 2026, to be considered for services. When one neighbor struggles, it impacts us all. Turn to Rebuilding Together Minnesota if you need support with critical repairs or safety modifications on your home. Apply now at rtmn.org and select Apply for help. Or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors.
Hi, this is Chad from AM 950. I've been telling you about Snap Construction, the company AM 950 trusts for all roofing and siding needs. Now that spring is here and summer is around the corner, now is a great time to find out why AM 950 trusts Snap Construction. Ryan, the owner, and his team at Snap Construction have been great to work with, and they have enjoyed working with our listeners.
Hi, this is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. We've absolutely loved working with the listeners at AM 950. What a great group of people and a great radio station. I personally want to thank all the listeners that we've had the opportunity to work with. At Snap Construction, we look forward to working with many more of you when it comes to your roofing, siding, windows, and insulation. Don't just take Chad's word for it. Google Snap Construction, arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, window, and insulation contractor in the Twin Cities metro. We led this community with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Don't wait to get a free estimate. Call today, 612-333-SNAP, 612-333-SNAP, or visit us online, snapconstruction.com.
All right, welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Haglind, and joining me today is Stacey Allen, a licensed marriage and family therapist and the owner of the group practice in Mind Health. And she's here today, and we're talking about all the experiences related to cancer, chronic health issues, and grief. And these all can have a huge impact on people's quality of life. Stacey, how can our listeners contact you if they want more information or they have questions?
Yes, they can certainly go to our website at inmindhealthmn.com. There's lots of information about our services on the website. There's also a contact form. So if you fill out the form and you'd like an appointment or you have a general question, you can use that same form to ask that question or inquire about services. You can also email at inmindhealthmn.com.
And just briefly, I want to make sure, because I know we're going to get questions about this after the show. You do both in-person and telehealth as well.
Yes.
Certain of your practitioners have certain days for in-person, certain days for telehealth. So
Yep,
that's
exactly
an option
right.
as well.
Yep, it's absolutely right. Telehealth has been huge.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to connect with patients, provides access to of the Twin Cities area. And so we can reach anybody in Minnesota, which is really wonderful through telehealth platforms. But we also have 2 clinic locations. And so we're in Eagan and we're in Chaska, and we're looking to expand. And so keep your eyes open on any news that might be coming around that soon. But it is great to be able to offer both.
Yeah. And you do have people that focus on art therapy. And you have to, I'm sure it's important to be in person for those art therapy sessions.
It really helps to be in person, but it is amazing how the COVID era brought so many opportunities for people to think a little creatively. And those art therapists are so creative anyway, that they have come up with ideas and ways to be able to do some of that work via telehealth.
Fantastic.
So that's been great. But I also wanted to highlight the idea too that we also take insurance. And so we take most of the main insurances that are offered to the residents of Minnesota, as well as Medicaid and Medicare.
Okay, fantastic. That's all the questions. Yeah, those are questions I get all the time after the show. What does it cost, and is it covered by insurance? So great. Thank you for clarifying that. So, what are some of the things that people can, as they're kind of thinking through? Is this something that would help me or my family member or my friend or whomever, related to just anxiety and depression and all the things that come along? And like you say, maybe no one's experienced that in their lifetime, and all of a sudden they have somebody themselves or somebody in their family or someone close to them that may be experiencing those things. So what are those symptoms, and what are the things that people should be looking for that may be a great reason to call you and your organization?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think just because people have cancer or chronic illness or are experiencing grief, or they're a healthcare provider, doesn't mean that they need to go to therapy. It is possible for people to be able to, utilize their inner resources and their social network and, be able to move through these experiences. But many folks struggle already prior to the diagnosis with anxiety or depression, and this can kick it up into a level that they maybe haven't experienced for a long time, or like I said before, they've never experienced anxiety or depression. So many people find that they're ruminating a lot. They have thoughts that are going through their head that are very troubling. They're focused on the potential of recurrence, the potential of a flare that's going to happen that's going to change life again. They're worried about the future. They're worried about their prognosis. And those thoughts just continue to roll through their head, and they feel like they can't stop them. And it interrupts sleep, and it interrupts their ability to relate to people. Memory issues start to happen because they're so stuck on these thoughts that it becomes difficult to stay focused and concentrate. So people even have trouble at work. Some people say they feel like they're buzzing inside. They have a heavy chest. They might even be experiencing panic attacks where they think maybe they're having a heart attack, but their anxiety is really kicked up to a panic level. Or they might even be self-medicating, using drugs, alcohol, and just engaging in activities that really aren't healthy, and they're not helping the situation. So if people are experiencing that kind of anxiety where it's interrupting the way that they're able to do life, on top of the way their illness is already interrupting life, it can be an awful lot for somebody to handle, and even difficult for family members to feel like they know what to do or how to help. So sometimes it's hard to encourage that person to come in. Maybe if you would maybe come in together, at least at first, to kind of get the ball rolling is helpful. But that is really common that people are experiencing some really high level anxiety. So there's things that we can do, treatments that we can offer, ways of calming the system, ways that we're going to think about things using cognitive behavioral therapies to help people change the way that they're thinking about things so that they can change the way that they're behaving. And so we really work on finding control. Where in this situation where there is such a loss of control, where can we find the areas where you really do have the ability to make choices for yourself? And how can you let go of the things that you can't control of and learn how to live in some of the unknowns of the things that life bring?
Boy, there's so much to talk about here. I want to make sure that people know too, you do have this support group that begins next month, and
Yeah.
we only got about a minute left. So I want to make sure we got that,
Thank
get
you.
that in.
Yeah, thank you. We do have a meaning-centered support group. It's a really different kind of a support group. There is sharing, and there is, talking back and forth as we process particular ideas that are rooted in Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. And so this is a program that was developed by Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York that's rooted in that book and the teachings of Viktor Frankl. When we're challenged with things in life that we can't control, how do we find meaning and purpose in those things? And so this is a 6-week group. We're offering it for free, and we are doing it virtually, and it is for cancer patients and for people with chronic health issues and other folks that are entangled in all of that could benefit as well.
Fantastic. And that starts here April 8th.
That starts April 8th.
And you
every
need to register
Wednesday.
then online here?
Yes.
Okay.
If you just contact through the website,
Yeah.
that's where we'll be able to then initiate your membership into that group.
Fantastic. All right. We're at the end of the show, folks. I want to thank Stacey Allen, a licensed marriage and family therapist and the owner of the group practice In Mind Health, for sharing how these experiences of cancer, chronic health issues, and grief can profoundly affect people's life. Stacey, how can our listeners contact you and your organization if they have questions or want more information?
Yeah, inmindhealthmn.com or inmind@inmindhealthmn.com by email.
All right, Stacey, thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed today's show, folks. Please contact us with any questions or comments you have regarding today's conversation. You can reach us anytime by voice or text at 612-999-3426. Join us again next week for another broadcast at Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about your health and your life. Until next time, choose to live well.
At Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, our job is to help you find a